All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Again, appreciate everyone jumping on the call. Today is October 3rd, depending on where you are on the globe. And we're presenting today with one of our integration partners. Company's name is NoteVault. Fantastic application. And today we'll be going through the presentation. And I'll kick things over here to Marion and TJ to introduce themselves a little bit more, and then take us through NoteVault, both from a product standpoint and then also from an optics standpoint. So Marion, TJ, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Josh. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Marion. I'm here with TJ. And as mentioned, we are from NoteVault, and we're very excited to be here today to discuss NoteVault and our integration with BIM 360. So we want to take a quick moment to thank Josh and Jared at Autodesk for having us. We really look forward to continuing our partnership together. We actually have been working with Autodesk for several years now, so we're really excited to have been given the opportunity to integrate with BIM 360. And of course, a massive thank you to all the attendees here joining us today. As mentioned, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat window and we'll answer them at the end of the webinar. So with this integration, you can now connect projects in NoteVault with its corresponding projects in BIM 360 and have the NoteVault daily report automatically upload to your documents folder. And in just a bit, we're going to show you how simple it is to connect NoteVault with BIM 360 and how easy it is to create professional daily reports within NoteVault. So before we dive in, we'd like to tell you a bit about what we do and how we came to be, because NoteVault's story is actually a really interesting one. So we were founded by Peter Lesensky, who comes with over 30 years of experience in the construction industry. And years ago, Peter owned a general contracting company, and at one point found himself in litigation over a work contract dispute. And as anyone in construction knows, this not only happens all too often, but it can also happen at any time. Unfortunately, the company ended up losing the legal battle because they didn't have sufficient concrete evidence for their side of the case. And after the litigation had ended, the arbitrator actually came up to Peter and said that they would have won if they had just had the proper documentation. So this was a bit of an aha moment for Peter when he realized that there had to be a simpler and more effective way to avoid these situations. A simpler way to not only document project activity consistently and effectively for all team members, but also keep better records and cover a company's assets. And this aha moment spurred the idea that is at the very core of what NoteVault is today. So that being said, what is NoteVault? NoteVault provides an easy-to-use daily reporting solution to document job site data from anywhere. So what makes us unique is that we use professional human transcription. So we actually take the audio recorded from the job site and have transcribers convert it into the text of your daily reports. Our transcribers are real people located domestically that have in-depth construction knowledge. So this means that they're able to easily pick up on field terminology and technical terms, handle any grammar and punctuation, and even do translation for those where English is not their native language. And on the job site, it can be hectic and loud, and you don't always have the time to type out a note in detail. And what we found is that team members that use transcription are much more inclined to document throughout the project, and daily reports end up having a lot more notes contributed with much greater detail. Essentially, what it comes down to is our ease of use. Our reporting solution was developed with construction teams in mind, and specifically for an industry that is, so prone to constant and unforeseeable changes. People in the field are more likely to document because it's just so easy to do so. They don't put it off. There's no need to go back to an office or a trailer at the end of the day and attempt to document the days or even weeks events. We find that people document and take photos on the spot when events are fresh in their minds. And ultimately, that's what makes the difference and contributes to quality professional reports. So now that we've talked about NoteVault and how easy it is to use, why don't we show you how to integrate with BIM 360. I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to our product manager, TJ, and he's going to be leading our demo for you all today.
All right. Thanks, Marion. As mentioned, my name is TJ, and I'll be leading you through the demo of NoteVault today. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And then just to give you a little bit of context, the screen on the left-hand side is the web browser from my computer. And then on the right-hand side, I'm actually mirroring the screen from my phone. So that's our mobile application. So the first thing I want to show is how to connect NoteVault to BIM 360. So I'm going to pull up our web portal here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to go to our user settings and then our connections. And I'm going to click on BIM 360 here. Pull up this tab. And we're going to connect to BIM 360. It's going to have us basically allow or authorize data to be shared between the two applications. We'll click on allow. And at NoteVault, we like to keep things simple. So it really is just as simple as typing in your BIM 360 hub, your BIM 360 project, and then its corresponding NoteVault project. So once this pulls up from our list of projects, we click it, we click connect. And then we know it was successful because it adds to the list of connected projects here at the bottom. So that's really all that there is to it. And then once we create those daily reports within NoteVault, then they automatically send over to BIM 360. So again, we like to keep things easy. And then one thing before we jump off of this page is that in addition to that, we have a function here for logs so that you can actually see the activity within a certain folder. So you can see uploads and changes and revisions all within a specific folder simply by clicking on this log button. So it's a really nice insight into what's going on to that specific folder. So once they're connected, where do those daily reports go? So we'll jump over to BIM 360 here. And within the document management section of the specific project within BIM 360, once we connect those projects from that page that I just showed you, we automatically create this NoteVault Daily Reports folder. So this is automatically created for you when we connect the projects. And then on a daily basis, we actually send over these daily reports into this folder. So I'll just quickly open one up. And this is what our daily reports look like. In a moment, I'll show you just how easy it is to create these. And we've got all of our project information here. We've got some nice notes and some pictures on here. And again, I'll show you how to just create those. And then this is all automatically synced over directly from NoteVault into the folder. And then just before we jump out and before I show you how to create these, one thing that I want to touch on that's coming soon is issues. We understand that that issues is really important on the job site. It's something that needs to be tracked and needs to be resolved. So one thing that we're really excited about that's coming soon in our integration is going to be the syncing back and forth between BIM 360 and NoteVault and issues. So if you were to create an issue based off an area on the daily report, then that actually would open up an issue within NoteVault. Someone could document that issue within NoteVault and resolve it, and then it would sync back into BIM 360 and actually have that issue closed out. So we're really excited about that. Again, it's not live yet, but it's something that's just coming down in the pipeline. So we've talked about the NoteVault daily reports, and let's actually jump in and show you how easy it is to create those. So I'm going to bring up this page real quick. And then I'm going to quickly switch gears over to our mobile application. We really emphasize our mobile applications for field use because we allow this application on both iOS and Android devices. And this day and age, pretty much everybody has one of those in their pocket. So it's a really easy way to get that job site data and to create those daily reports. So when I first pull up my NoteVault Notes app, I'm brought to my list of projects. You see that my recent projects kind of float there to the top. The rest of the projects are listed there at the bottom. I can also search for projects if need be, but I'm just going to go ahead and tap on a project to go into it. Takes a moment just to load the project and my last notes. This is kind of a feed of notes. So basically it's in reverse chronological order. The last notes that were created on this project are going to be at the top. Notes below that are going to be at the bottom. And this is the interface that we use to create those really professional looking daily reports. So as you'll notice, there's really not a lot to it. And we did that intentionally because we like to keep things easy and simple to use for those field users. So basically, once we're here, we have two options. We can either type a note or we can record a note. At NoteVault, we really emphasize our use of transcription. I don't know if any of you have used Siri in the past, but a lot of times when you use it, you almost have to monitor what's being dictated and what's being translated from your spoken words into that text. And at NoteVault, we're a little bit different because we actually have people with that construction background actually taking that audio and converting it into text. So not only that, but we save that audio file for up to 10 years. So if you ever need to refer back to it, you can always hear it back, you can play it back, and you can listen to it if you ever need to, where the phone's built-in speech to text doesn't do that for you. And then in addition to that, I'm just going to go ahead and tap on this record note button. And NoteVault also has some advantages over the phone's speech to text because it also works offline. So compared to, say, your phone's built-in speech to text recognition, NoteVault works offline. So if you're in an area where there's little to no network coverage, if you're in a sub-basement, basically if there's an area where there's no service, NoteVault will save that audio file, and then once you're back and connected, it will actually upload to our server, and then at that point it will be sent to our transcribers and they will convert it into text for you. So I tap on done there, and then at this point I'm prompted to either take a photo with my phone's camera or choose an existing photo. So you know, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, pictures are worth 1,000 words. We actually recently had a customer where they were actually they were digging, and the contract said that they were supposed to dig a certain amount of feet. They dug that certain amount of feet, documented it with NoteVault, took a picture of it. There ended up being a dispute about how far they were supposed to go. They referred to the contract, referred to the picture taken in NoteVault, and resolved the dispute right then and there. So no pain points in that specific scenario. Saved a lot of time and obviously saved a lot of money. So that was obviously a big win for everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and choose an existing photo from my gallery. I'll select this one here. I can select up to 6 photos if I need to. At this point, I'm just going to select one. I'll tap on done. I can either tap done up there at the top right, or we also have some tools to annotate the photo. So if there was a specific spot that I wanted to point out, or if there was a specific spot that I needed to you know, circle or something like that, I could do that on that photo. Excuse me. And once I'm done there, I just tap on done. It prompts me one more time if I want to add any additional photos, but in this case, I'm just going to tap I'm done. And it adds our latest note to the top of the feed there. So really, that's all there is to it. As you're observing the job site and observing things that are happening, basically you just tap record note, you take a picture. We do have a saying here that if you can talk and take photos with your phone, then you can use NoteVault. And then we do the heavy lifting on the back end. We actually take that recording, convert it into a very professional looking daily report, and we do all that for you. So we're well on our way to creating our professional looking daily report. And then, so I'm gonna actually switch gears and bring us over to our crew app, which is, if you'll notice, is at the bottom right of my screen there. And we use crew here at NoteVault to track resources, and we consider resources here to be labor, material, and equipment. So again, we like to keep things pretty simple. So in order to create one of these resource entries, we tap on the plus sign up at the top right, and then it asks which type of resource we want to enter. Let's go ahead and start with labor. And with labor, we can either track labor for people. So if you're tracking, let's say, hours for an employee of your own company, or you can track labor for headcount or manpower for, let's say, a subcontractor you have on site. So we'll stick here with company, and then really these are just tap and choose menus. So again, this is intended to be as easy as possible to use. So we're going to go ahead and tap in name of company, and we select from our customizable list here. We tap in trade and cost code. Again, these are completely customizable on both the account level and the project level. We're going to go ahead and select class and skill level. And then we'll go ahead and select the amount of workers. It assumes that each worker was on site for 10 hours apiece, but let's say they were on site for 8 hours apiece. We just make that quick adjustment. And then it asks for a quick shift report description. This is meant to be a little bit on the short side. Any lengthy documentation, we recommend going through the Notes app. But we'll just say, you know, laying foundation northwest. Again, pretty simple. We tap save. And just like the Notes app, our latest entry floats there to the top, so we know where we left off. And we know exactly what we just entered. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to kind of rinse and repeat, but this time instead of entering a labor entry, we're going to do material. But you'll notice it's that same interface. So again, we like to keep things as consistent as possible. So we'll go ahead and select concrete. We'll select that same company there, feasible construction. We'll say 1,000, let's say cubic yards, put in place, sounds right. And then I can either enter a new shift report description, or if I want to group it together with that labor entry I just made, I just simply tap on that work description that I made for the labor entry. We get that check mark there, and then I tap save. And then we know that it's grouped together with that labor entry because everything is grouped together under that gray heading there up at the top, the laying foundation at the northwest. So again, just like the Notes app, rinse and repeat till you get all your documentation. In our Crew app, you just rinse and repeat until you get all of those resources entered, whether it's several companies that you're entered, several employees that you're keeping track of hours, several material, or even equipment if you need to. And then one last thing on the Crew app that we have before we move on is that we have this tool here. You'll notice there's what we call a hamburger menu in each of those gray headings. And if you tap on that, then it actually brings up an option to copy your shift report. Now we know that things on a job site from day to day can stay pretty consistent. So if you enter one shift report and put in, let's say there's, 10 subcontractors with several material and a few pieces of equipment, we're not going to make you enter that to the granular detail each and every time. You can actually copy that entire shift report, and then once it's copied to a new day, then you can actually make slight adjustments. So if you need to make any adjustments to the amount of people that were on site or the amount of equipment hours being used, then you can do that once it's copied. So that's really it for our Crew app. And then I'm going to bring us back over to our web portal here. It'll refresh one more time. You'll notice here that on our web portal, we've got some project details that we populate automatically on the report. And our web interface is designed to look like our daily report. And that's done, again, intentionally so that you get a preview of what that report will look like before it goes out the next day. So we have a room here for either a project or an account logo. We have some project details, including the name of the project and the project address and a job number. Now the project address is really important because this is where we get the weather information from. So we actually automatically populate the weather 3 times per day on the report for you based off of the address that's entered in the project details. So then once we get past the weather, then we get to the information that is not automatically entered, but is entered through our mobile apps. So we've got those resources that we just entered through our crew app. We've got our labor and our material. And then we've got our note here that we entered. Again, this has already been transcribed from my audio and converted into text. It's got all the punctuation, the spaces, the capitalization, the proper nouns, everything is taken care of for me. I've got my project location, or excuse me, my note location. So we can actually, if we ever needed to, we can prove where this specific note was taken. So if that was ever up for dispute, we can always prove where that note was taken. And then we can also categorize these notes. So by default, all of these notes are entered into a general notes category, but we actually have the ability to categorize these notes. We can either categorize them through our mobile app, or we can categorize them through the web portal here. So let's say this particular note pertained to meeting minutes. We click on save. It adds it right here for us, but then when the page refreshes, it'll actually put it in this section for meeting minutes, because our categories are actually, they're basically report headings. So you'll see here that this note now no longer says it's in general notes, but this note is in meeting minutes. So the categories are really nice because they kind of separate out the report into different sections. And as I mentioned earlier, our reports go out automatically by default the next morning. You can set up when that time is for the report to go out, and they automatically go out by email. And at the same time that these reports go out by email is that same time that we send it to the project documents folder within BIM 360. So that's our demo for you today. I hope it was instructional and informational, and hopefully there were some questions that we can answer for you. So did we have any questions?
Yeah, yeah, TJ, great job. Very exciting, and we have had several questions roll in here. So some of them are NoteVault related, some of them are BIM 360 related, so we'll tackle them together. The first question that came in is, how long does it take for the notes to be transcribed?
Yeah, that's a great question. So generally our turnaround time is on average about 10 minutes. So you'll be seeing those notes populating throughout the day on your project dashboard, both on the web portal and on the mobile app, as TJ showed during the demo.
Okay, cool, fantastic. Thanks, Marion. The next question is, so you can track hours for people. Does that show up on the daily report?
I'll grab this one too. The hours do show up on your daily reports under the labor section of your project. But in addition to that, if you're tracking hours for employees, we also do produce time cards as well.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll just ask a follow-up on that because I'm interested, Marion, but with the time cards, can you guys push those out to like a CSV or an Excel file?
Yeah, great question. We actually push them out as a PDF or as a spreadsheet, as an Excel file. So you can do either or actually both, depending on exactly what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Having worked with a lot of payroll people in the past, I know that anything that can be done to expedite those folks' responsibilities is a big win. So that's great to hear.
Absolutely.
Next question is, can NoteVault's application function offline?
Yeah, so it absolutely can. That's one of the things that we really hang our hat on is our ability to work offline, so that you can capture that audio file if you're not in network coverage or not on a Wi-Fi network. You can record that audio file, and then once you are back on network coverage, again, whether that be your cellular network or a Wi-Fi network, then that audio file will upload to our transcription service. And then at that point, then we take it from there and convert it into text for you.
Awesome. Okay, next one, and you touched on this a little bit, TJ, but I think people had deeper questions around it. So what are the different categories that can be captured and transcribed into a report?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the categories are completely customizable, both on an account level and a project level. So if you've got a specific list of categories that you want reported on day in and day out for the entire company, then you can set up the categories based on exactly how you want them. You can order them in a specific way so that basically they show up in the right order on the report for you. So if you want, just for an example, meeting minutes first, deliveries next, safety inspections third, you basically can organize those in the way that you see fit. And then if, let's say that there's a project that you have that has a different set of categories, you can actually customize them as deep as the project level as well. So they're completely customizable to what fit your needs.
Okay, great. I think this one's near and dear to a lot of us. Anyone that's used a dictation tool like Siri in the past. So the question is, can you elaborate on the transcription process? The person asking the question said that they've encountered errors with dictation in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you just touched on, when you're using Siri or the built-in text-to-speech, software on the phone, half the time you're watching it. You're monitoring to see what's going on, what the phone is actually going to pick up, or what it thinks you said. And what's really nice about our transcription is that it's people that have specific background in the construction industry. And have a lot of background, not only with the construction industry, but have a lot of experience with NoteVault. And they are the ones actually listening to the note. They're converting it into text. We also have tools at your disposal that we call transcription glossaries, so that if there's a set of terms or abbreviations or proper nouns, or maybe even just a set of vernacular that's used in the company or on a specific project, you can actually set up this glossary for our transcribers to refer to, so that they're not having to guess what you're saying. But for the most part, most of the things are pretty consistent within the construction industry, and they're actually using that experience and using those glossaries as a combination to really be as accurate as possible when they're transcribing that audio into a text.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. I know that that's a huge help, especially on a job site where you've got a lot of equipment moving around and maybe the dictation tool didn't pick up on everything that was being said. Okay, so I'm going to ask these questions a little out of order in terms of how they came in, but they're interrelated. So the first one's for you, TJ. So how do NoteVault reports get added to my project inside of BIM 360? Is this an automatic process?
Yeah, so once you connect the two projects together, so if you've got a project within BIM 360, then basically all you have to do is create a corresponding project within NoteVault, and then once that exists as a project in NoteVault, then you connect the two using our connection page, and then that document folder, or excuse me, the NoteVault daily reports folder gets created automatically within BIM 360 under that specific project within BIM 360.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So then a follow-up question, I'll take this one. So can I attach NoteVault files to drawings and models inside of BIM 360? The answer there is absolutely. We have a hyperlinking tool that you can click on any drawing, create a hyperlink, and then associate that with files that exist both in the plans and the project files area. So, the workflow there is I'm on a drawing, I want to create an association between an area on my drawing to a file that's been passed into BIM 360 from NoteVault. So create the hyperlink, go find the file in the appropriate folder, associate it, and you're ready to go. Very easy for people in the office and the field to then go and find that specific NoteVault report associated with that specific hyperlink. So pretty cool workflow, pretty applicable to today's topic. So that was the last question that's come in. TJ, could you flip to a slide where perhaps we can see how to get in touch with the NoteVault folks in case there's follow-up questions, or if they'd be interested in seeing an overview demo of BIM 360 or of NoteVault, or perhaps the two together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Fantastic. Thanks for pulling that up. So there you go. You've got TJ and Marion both on the screen there. You know, feel free to reach out to them and they'll connect you with the right resources at NoteVault. Please feel free to reach out to me also, really around any topic. I try to be a jack of all trades here at Autodesk. So with that, I want to thank TJ and Marion. Great presentation. Thanks to everyone at NoteVault for the deep work that you guys have done on integrating into BIM 360. We're really happy to have you as part of our ecosystem. A couple last topics here. One, as many of you probably know, our user conference, Autodesk University, is coming up here in November, so a little over a month away. We have our Connect and Construct event that's taking place November 12th, and then full-blown Autodesk University the 13th through the 15th. Really exciting event. Last year was my first one, and I was just blown away at really what it feels like when you have 10,000 customers come together for an event. Pretty exciting. The second topic is we'll be doing one of our last webinars, one of our last integration webinars, October 23rd. That'll be with Hollow Builder, so an exciting integration and presentation there. So with that, guys, I'll wrap today up. Again, TJ, Marion, everyone at NoteVault, really appreciate you being part of our ecosystem and going through some of the workflows today.
Thank you so much. We had a great time.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Thanks.